So for this video, we're going to be looking at adding and subtracting rational expressions with unlike denominators. So there's going to be 4 basic steps that we follow to complete these problems. The first one is to find the LCD, or in other words, the least common denominator. After we find this, we're going to rewrite each fraction as an equivalent fraction with the LCD, so with that least common denominator. And this is done by multiplying both the numerator and the denominator of each fraction by any factors needed to get the LCD. And then step 3, we're going to add or subtract the numerators while keeping the denominator. And then lastly, we'll simplify the fraction. Okay, let's look at this first one. So this first one I have 7 over x plus 3 over y. I can't go ahead and add these because I do not have a common denominator. And so I need to find that least common denominator first. Least common denominator is going to be all those factors multiplied together. So here I have an x, and then I have a y. So that means that my LCD is going to be xy. And so that means for this next step, I need to multiply both of these by that factor I'm missing. So for this first one, I have just an x, so I'm missing a y. So I have 7 over x, and I need to multiply that by y over y. For my second fraction, I am missing x, so that means I need to multiply top and bottom by x over x. And so when I do that, I get 7y over xy plus 3x over xy. And now I have that common denominator, so I can go ahead and add the numerators. And so I have 7y plus 3x over xy. Then I need to see if I can go ahead and simplify this fraction. And I see that I cannot. And so this is my final answer. Okay, let's look at this next one. This next one I have x over x plus 5 plus 2 over x minus 3. My only 2 factors here are x plus 5 and x minus 3. And so that means that my least common denominator is just those multiplied together. And so next I need to go ahead and multiply both of these by its missing factor. With this one I have x plus 5. I'm missing the x minus 3. And so I need to multiply by x minus 3 on top and bottom. And then for this next one, this 2 over x minus 3, I am missing the factor x plus 5. So I need to multiply top and bottom by x plus 5. So when I do that, I have x times x minus 3 over x plus 5, x minus 3, plus 2 times x plus 5 over x plus 5, x minus 3. So now I have that common denominator, so I can go ahead and add the numerators. I'm first going to go ahead and distribute and put these all in one fraction in one step. So when I distribute this x, I have x squared minus 3x plus 2x plus 10. And so when I simplify that top, I have x squared negative 3x plus 2x. I get minus x plus 10 over x plus 5 times x minus 3. And then I need to see if I can simplify this fraction further. And so looking at this, I see with my top I have x squared minus x plus 10. And so thinking through if that can be factored, I need 2 factors that multiply 10 and add to negative 1. Well, 1 and 10 don't add to negative 1. 2 and 5, there's no way that's going to add to negative 1. And so that means that this is my final answer. Okay, let's look at 2 more. So this next one I have 5 over x squared minus 5x minus x over 5x minus 25. This one, the denominators need to be factored first. so that I can see what factors I have. And so factoring that first one, I see I have a GCF of x, so I have x times x minus 5. The next one, I have a GCF of 5, and so I see I have 5 times x minus 5. And so that means that my least common denominator here is going to be all those factors that they share and are different multiplied together. So I have a 5, I have an x, and they share the factor x minus 5. They're both just to the power of 1. So that means that my LCD is just 5x times x minus 5. And now I need to go ahead and multiply both of these by that factor that it's missing. I'm going to go ahead and shorten this step a little bit. So I'm going to put my LCD at the bottom here. And my number here that's on top. And then I'm just going to multiply that numerator by what I'm missing. For this first fraction, to get that 5 on the bottom, that means I need to multiply 5 on top. For this second fraction, I'm missing the factor x, so that means I need to multiply this x on top. And so when I get that, I have 25 minus x squared over 5x times x minus 5. And then I need to make sure I simplify this all of the way. So looking at this top right here, I see this is going to be a difference of squares, but I don't want my x squared term to be negative. So in order to make that positive, I can take out a negative. And this becomes x squared minus 25 over 5x times x minus 5. And then I can factor that difference of squares. So I have negative x plus 5, x minus 5, over 5x times x minus 5. And now I see I have a common factor of x minus 5, so I can cancel that out. And I'm left with negative x plus 5 over 5x. Okay, now let's look at one last one. So first step, I need to factor those denominators. And so when I factor that first one, I see it has a GCF of 2. And so I have 2 times x minus 1. When I factor this next one, I see that that's going to come out to be x minus 3, x minus 1. Because negative 3 times negative 1 gets me a positive 3, and negative 3 plus negative 1, I get negative 4. Okay, so now I need to determine my LCD. So I need to multiply all these factors. So I have 2. They both share x minus 1, and then x minus 3. And so I'm going to write my LCD down here. So I have 2 times x minus 1, x minus 3, minus 2 times x minus 1 times x minus 3. And I'm going to multiply by what I'm missing. And so for this first one, this 2 times x minus 1, x minus 3, the factor I'm missing is x minus 3. So I need to multiply this top by x minus 3. For my second one, the only term I am missing is 2. So I need to multiply by 2 here. So when I multiply this top, x plus 2 times x minus 3, you should get x squared minus x minus 6. And when you multiply this 2, you should get negative 4x minus 2. And now I can subtract those numerators. And so when I do that, I have x squared minus x minus 6. And I am subtracting this entire thing, so I'm going to put it in parentheses. And when I distribute that negative, I get plus 4x plus 2. And now simplifying that top, I have x squared, negative x plus 4x, I get 3x. And And then negative 6 plus 2, I get minus 4 over 2 times x minus 1, x minus 3. Now I need to see if I can factor the top. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 4 and add to 3. And I see that's going to be 4 and negative 1. So this top gets me x plus 4, x minus 1, over 2 times x minus 1, x minus 3. And now seeing I do have a common factor of x minus 1 on top and bottom. So my x minus 1s cancel out. And I'm left with an answer of x plus 4 over 2 times x minus 3.